Puma-man, does more than a puma can. Thrown from the side of a building, survived the fall without trying. Watch out.
In 1980, the Italian superhero movie Puma-Man came to the big screen. Dr. Cobras wants to attain world domination by controlling the thoughts of other people with a golden Aztec mask. This is where Puma-Man comes in.
Hey, nobody cares about your Puma-Man.
We want Spider-Man, damn it.
Watch out, here comes the Puma-man.
Whatever.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
I am so high, I can hear heaven. I'm so high, I can hear heaven. Oh, but heaven, no heaven, don't hear me. And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait. I'll hold on to the wings of the eagles. Watch as we all fly away. Someone told me.
In 2002, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man swung over screens. The US production had a budget of $139 million and made more than $800 million worldwide back. The movie is based on the same named Marvel comic series, in Germany known as The Spider, which I collected in the 80s. Spider-Man appeared for the first time in 1962 in Amazing Fantasy number 15 and got his own comic in the following year.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
Hey everyone, Don here, and Cub has asked me to talk to you about Spider-Man games. I said sure, then I realized there's more than 35 different games featuring Spider-Man, so I'm just going to focus on a couple that I'm somewhat more familiar with. My first experience with a Spider-Man game was on the Atari 2600, and that was back before it was even called the 2600. It was just called the Atari VCS, I think, Video Computer System, where the purpose of the game is to swing your way up the building, avoiding enemies, collecting them if you can, avoiding the bombs, doing the same thing, and also the Green Goblin in order to defuse the Super Bomb. Next, I will talk to you about Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six on the NES. This game doesn't really hold a fond memory for me, since I was a big fan of the original Sinister Six in the comics and also the Return of the Sinister Six, but this game is just plain terrible. The controls are super clunky, and its over hardness in terms of difficulty is what really kills it for me. Finally, we will touch on my favorite video game featuring Spider-Man, that being Maximum Carnage on the SNES. Don't get me wrong, this game is hard AF, but there's nothing like a good beat-em-up to remind you how much fun the 16-bit consoles were.
And they're watching us. They're watching us. Yes, we all fly away.
The 1967 animated series Spider-Man is probably the most accurate to the Stan Lee Steve Ditko run on Spider-Man. But what in the heck were they thinking when they made a teenager sound like this?
There are few things freakier than a bleary-eyed, typical teenage superhero.
The 1999 Spider-Man is Spider-Man Unlimited. It's actually a pretty decent Spider-Man animated series. It was very short, 13 episodes. Rhino Romano is the voice of Peter Parker in this, but I think he did a better job as the voice of the Batman.
Then Gotham has one Batman too many, which means one of us has gotta go. My thoughts exactly.
2017 brought us Marvel's Spider-Man on Disney XD. This one has Robbie Daymond as the voice of Peter Parker / Spider-Man. And I'm going to say, I liked him in this role, but I think he did better in this one.
What is she? Hey, wait a second. What is she doing?
Wannabe reviewer here, dropping in at the Lone Wolf Cub's request. For anyone who doesn't know me, I have a YouTube channel where I do reviews on all sorts of stuff, such as anime, movies, video games, and of course, animated TV series. Now, when Cub approached me about discussing a Spider-Man animated series, I knew that there was only one answer for which one I would be talking about. Running for only 2 short seasons from 2008 to 2009, I think it is incredible just how beloved the spectacular Spider-Man series is. What makes the series so good, you may ask? Well, just about every aspect of the show is perfect in my opinion. You have a likable, relatable Peter Parker, an excellent supporting cast, villains with interesting backstories, clever fight scenes, a great soundtrack, and story arcs that not only show consistency throughout the series, but also set up the groundwork for future events and interactions. Everything is just so well written, and the way the series pulls from all available source material to create something fresh is very well done. While the show met an untimely demise due to legal problems behind the scenes, it has still managed, for many fans, to eclipse every series that has come before and even after it.
Hey everyone, I'm Mackenzie Lambert, host of the Mac and the Movies podcast, here to tell you about the late 1970s iterations of Spider-Man on the small screen. We start with 1977's The Amazing Spider-Man. This made-for-TV movie was the pilot of the live-action Spider-Man TV series. Starring as the web-slinger is Nicholas Hammond. The plot revolves around an unknown guru who puts people under hypnosis and has them commit crimes.
Wait a minute. That's completely stolen from Puma-man.
It's not. Your stupid Puma-man came 3 years later.
Whatever.
He eventually holds the city ransom when he threatens 10 people will commit suicide under his control unless he is paid $50 million. The supporting cast features David White as J. Jonah Jameson and Michael Pataki as Captain Barbera. The film premiered on September 14th, 1977 and was a ratings hit, becoming the most successful made-for-TV movie of the year for CBS. The film was given sporadic theatrical releases where it earned $9 million. But with no information on the budget, there is no telling if the sum counts as success or a failure. A sequel was inevitable. On May 8th, 1978, Spider-Man Strikes Back was aired on CBS. Hammond and Pataki returned, but Robert F. Simon took over the role of Jameson. 3 college students are given materials to make an atomic bomb, which they assemble to show the dangers of nuclear energy. While the trio steals plutonium, Spider-Man interferes. The guards find Spider-Man and blame him for the theft. Meanwhile, the villainous Mr. White reads of the theft and deduces the students stole the plutonium. He intends to steal the bomb from right under the students for his own nefarious purposes. This made-for-TV movie was actually 2 episodes of the TV show edited together as a feature film. The 2-parter, The Devil's Dust, aired on April 5th and April 12th of 1978, a month before Spider-Man Strikes Back aired. No information is available whether this movie was a success, but general consensus seems to be it fared poorly due to being previously aired material and the low-budget nature of the TV program.
He's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang up. Wherever there's a hang up, you'll find the Spider-Man. Japanese Spider-Man, shoots his suit right out from his hand. How does he get the horn? My guess is tentacle porn. Oh yeah, here comes Japanese Spider-Man.
In 1981, Spider-Man The Dragon's Challenge became my first Spider-Man movie I watched in the cinema, fudged together out of the last 2 episodes of the TV series. But it wasn't released until June, a month after the launch of Puma-man, which made Puma-man my first superhero movie cinema experience ever. A Chinese minister asks his old friend J. Jonah Jameson for help against a shady businessman who tries to kill him with hitman. Peter Parker persuades the minister to fake his death, so that Spider-Man can investigate the case.
The TV show itself was a rating success, but CBS canceled the show after 13 episodes. While known for being cheap-looking and a product of the time, the stunts for the web-slinger stood out due to them being performed for real. Another fault of the show was the lack of Spider-Man's iconic villains. Webhead is considered to have one of the best rogues gallery in comics, second only to Batman. Yet the show was unable to bring in any of them, whether it's Dr. Octopus, the Vulture, Green Goblin, or Mysterio. Overall, the 2 TV movies and TV series offered a bare minimum experience for Spider-Man. They're products of their time and could be enjoyed as such. Back to you, Lone Wolf Cub.
Hang up. Wherever there's a hang up,
Clint,
you'll find the Spider-Man.
Peter Parker lives with his Aunt May and his Uncle Ben. On a school trip, he's bitten by a genetically manipulated spider and develops superpowers. At the same time, an experiment goes wrong in the Oscorp laboratories and Norman Osborn becomes the Green Goblin. Spider-Man is a very good comic adaptation, with the exception of James Franco as Harry Osborn, excellently cast with acceptable effects for the time. It was my most anticipated movie ever. Unfortunately, the script has some obvious holes, like the fact that he basically has his costume out of nowhere. He is also, unlike the movie, self-developed web shooter in the comics, and Green Goblin has an elastic mask and not this stupid inflexible one. The biggest flaw, however, is the completely fucked up super lame final somewhere in a cellar. The actual final was supposed to take place at the World Trade Center, but thanks to the government staged false flag attacks of 9/11, it had to be rewritten. Presumably also the reason for the embarrassing patriotism propaganda bit with the people on the bridge and the disappearance of the best teaser ever with the ingenious World Trade Center scene. In 2004, the financially equally successful sequel came out. Peter Parker isn't able to manage relationship, work and Spider-Man anymore, apparently loses his powers and gives up his costume. At the same time, another Oscorp experiment goes wrong, and Doc Ock enters the stage, perfectly portrayed by Alfred Molina. Spider-Man 2 is by far the best Spider-Man movie ever. He has of course some minor flaws, again the miscast of James Franco, and in one scene a confusing score piece which clearly ripped off, was inspired by Hellraiser. My all-time favorite villain from the comics, Doc Ock, delivers spectacular fights with Spider-Man, and I really like the overall story. It's also the last good Spider-Man. From now on, the first Halloween rule applies: not as good as the last, but at least not as terrible as the next one.
We'll stay up all night.
Spider-Man 3, the frequently bashed conclusion of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, honestly isn't that bad in my opinion. Yes, some plot elements simply don't work. Retconning Uncle Ben's death is really, really dumb, as is Harry's butler withholding vital information that would have saved everyone so much trouble. But I can't deny that when it works, it really works. The Sandman's creation is a gorgeous scene, the action is awesome, and I love its themes of anger and forgiveness.
Revenge is like a poison that can take us over. And before you know it, can turn you into something ugly.
And I even like Emo Peter's dancing. It's so cringe-inducing and hard to watch, and I find it hysterical. Spider-Man 3 has problems, but I believe its pros far outweigh its cons. And look, compared to what's to come, it's Oscar-worthy.
In 2012, Mark Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man was a hasty reboot so that Sony can keep the rights to the character. He has a completely new cast and a similar origin story. Also, this time Peter has again self-developed web shooters like in the comics. A one-armed scientist develops a serum with which separated limbs grow again. In a self-experiment, he becomes a lizard-like reptile that wants to turn the entire city also into lizards with a serum distribution system on a rooftop. Unfortunately, this god-awful boring as fuck nonsense made enough money to justify a sequel.
If you want to understand everything wrong with modern blockbusters, then you need look no further than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I mean, when the director states that he wanted to create a universe that can withstand and anticipate future storylines while also working in and of itself for one movie, you get the feeling that this is not a film being made because someone had a burning desire to tell a classic story on the big screen, but because shareholders need constantly bigger returns. I mean, how else can the 9th highest grossing film of the year, with takings of over $700 million, be described as performing below expectations? Also, in August 2011, 11 months before the release of The Amazing Spider-Man, Sony announced the release date for this sequel. Anyway, in theory, this is a very simple plot. Well, as simple as Spider-Man plots get. The webhead, played pretty well by Andrew Garfield, is trying to protect the city from Electro, Jamie Foxx continuing his eternal quest to prove that his Oscar win was one of the biggest mistakes the Academy ever made, as well as defeat the Green Goblin, Dehan trying to earn enough to be able to afford to go back to indie films, and at the same time dealing with relationship issues with Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone enjoying a lovely break from acting, as well as setting up Venom, the Sinister Six, unraveling mysteries involving his parents, keeping his secret identity from Aunt May, and if that sounds like a lot to cram into a 142-minute film, that's because it is. This film is an overstuffed, bloated mess with some very thrilling set pieces and a couple of good actors, but removing half of the subplots and characters, most of whom exist purely to make fanboys swoon and set up yet more films, would have been a good hit. Garfield could have been a good Spider-Man, although not as good as Tom Holland or Josh Keaton, but he just gets drowned out by all the noise and unnecessary side plots and hints at the future. I mean, at least Marvel are slightly subtle when they use one film to advertise 4 more, so I definitely think that you should skip it. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.
This is the noise that keeps me awake. My head explodes and my body
The moderate box office numbers and the massive backlash from fans and critics led to the fact that Sony temporarily shared their rights and Spider-Man became part of the MCU.
Spider-Boy.
But that's another sad rant. I mean, of course, fair and objective review.